Who's learned Shmuel before? You're here anyway. So there's always more. And there's always more to learn. I think that there's another. Is there somebody else over there? No. No, there's 2 sheets each person. Oh, so Becky's here. Okay. And there's nobody sitting over there. Okay. Anybody else here? Except for Becky. Becky's here. So some part of me just wants to wait till Rosh Hashanah, like till Elul, because this is really the Haftarah on Rosh Hashanah. So like, it's like. Well, I'll do it again for Rosh Hashanah. But because it's mashmatim for that. But this is where we are. Should I wait for Becky? Okay. Wait. Okay, so maybe I'll just start. Okay, so the truth is that if we were doing this menutak from what like we did up to now, I would probably give a shir, like there should be a shir hagdama, like bringing shoftim, and like what were the problems in shoftim time, and how this is like going to be a tikkun to that. But we don't need to do that because we just finished shoftim, and also Ruth I think was also was a bit like that. So we're going to go straight into the psukim, but I think we have to keep in mind where we're coming from, the time that we're at. Eli and then Shmuel are going to be the last shoftim, so we're really at the end of the time of shoftim, and the issues that we were dealing with, like I think we're going to see here somebody doing things a little bit differently, and bringing about the tikkun that's going to come through Shmuel, the last shofet. Okay. ויהי איש אחד מן הרמתיים צופים מהר אפרים ושמו אלקנה בן ירוחם בן אליהו בן תוכו בן צוף אפרתי. Okay, so this is kind of familiar, right? We had a few times there was some person who left, one person. I brought here a few examples. The first one is actually something we haven't seen yet, but it's the same language. When Shaul is chosen, right, is Vayhi Ish V'shmo Kish ben Aviel ben Tzror ben Bachat, and so forth. Notice the ribui of people that were saying who Elkanah is from. Like there's what's his ichus, which also with Shaul we're going to see, but in Shoftim, in contrast, and I brought here the 2 examples, in the case of Shimshon, V'ish echad mitzorah mimishpachat hadani, b'shmo manoach. Like we don't even know who any of his ancestors are. And also with Pesel Micha, we also had V'ish mihar Ephraim b'shmo Michiel. Like so this V'yi'ish is one person, and what happens from one person, while and here we have again one person. The Malbim here points out that V'yi'ish echad is, if you notice, in Shoftim, in Shimshon, it also said V'yi'ish echad. Malbim said it's somebody who has a very important role. Like that one person is somebody special. Elkanah here is going to be could it be bringing out Shmuel? That's going to be that one special person.
It's very interesting that in Shoftim, when they talk about Shimshon, they say Mishpachat Hadani. They say Shevet Hadani.
Nachon.
That means that
they were a very small shevet. They were right. There was one mishpacha. That's actually, we talked about it then. Right, Nachon. The shevet was the mishpacha. Like mamash kacha. And here the Ralbag also says. Okay, the other 2 stories being Pesel Micha and Pilegesh Bagiva, which, by the way, was also Vaylech Ish. It was Vaylech Ish. It's not Vayish. It was Vaylech Ish mibet Lechem Yuda. No. Vaylech Ish. I need a tanach. What does it say there? It's Pilegesh Bagiva. We just learned this. But it. I'll get it. One second. Vehi ish levi gar bi'arketei har Ephraim. Notice the har Ephraim. Veikach lo isha pilegesh mibet lechem Yehuda. Okay, so it's a little bit. He didn't. Okay, and then he goes after her. Vayakam isha v'yilech achareh. Okay, but that same concept of a person here in Yarketei Ephraim, and he is also a Levi, by the way. So then the Rabak says, "Samach zeh sipur l'shnei hasipurim hakodmim, ki bechol echad me'hasipurim hahem haya ma shehigia me'hakilkul b'sibat Levi." Okay, both in the story of Pesel Micha, we had a Levi who, because of him, came something very bad. Meaning, Pesel Micha is like an Avodah Zarah that's going to be machti many people, and people go there instead of Shiloh. Okay, and then you also had the Levi from Har Ephraim, who in the end is what comes out of him is Pilegesh Bagiva. Not a great story, not all his fault, but from that one person's story, we saw how he had a part in the story, right? We got civil war. Okay, so as opposed to those two, כי הנער הלוי היה גר בבית מיכה ושהיה בהר אפרים, והאיש לוי בעל הפילגש גם כן היה גר בהר אפרים, והסכימו עוד ששני הסיפורים הם שכבר נסע מבית לחם יהודה. Okay, in both of those stories you also had a בית לחם יהודה. The Levi from Pesel Micha came from בית לחם יהודה, and then he was going to find Parnasah, right? And then he ends up around Beit El. You look confused, yeah.
I'm not confused. I'm just in this story where I was struggling with why we shouldn't know about his name. I mean, with the other story.
Well, we do know. We will know. We do. It was Shmuel Kana. It's in the. We know his story. You know his name. You're right. In the other stories, we actually don't have a name.
Right.
We get the name at the end in Pesel Micha, but.
So I feel like maybe it's just that we don't need to. We just need to know
The whole story. But although in Pesel Micha we got the name in the end. He's and Menashe ben Gershom. And then we say it's actually Moshe ben Gershom ben Menashe, and that it's actually Moshe. It might be Moshe's grandson. We do. Right. It's at the end of the story. But here we already get his name. No, we get his name. So there's a connection here between Har Ephraim and Beit Lechem Yehuda. והנה שמח לזה, and in the last sentence, זה הסיפור שהיה איש לוי גר בהר אפרים, ויצא ממנו מי שבא טובה גדולה על ידו לישראל. And here is the same prototype of a Levi from Har Ephraim, but from him you're going to get something good called Shmuel, who's going to bring out the Hamlachat, 2 kings, and bring some stability into Am Yisrael's life, right? Not this constant changing of shoftim and instability. Okay. Now, and Radak, Radak from Har Ephraim. Okay, so Har Ephraim, what does Har Ephraim mean? First of all, if you look in Damikra, Har Ephraim is an area, okay? Second, find the map. That didn't take pictures. Just all we need is for one thing. So, here we go. So this is Har Ephraim, right, along here, and now where Shiloh is here. They estimate, they don't know for sure, that Rabbatayim Tzofim is here. Okay, that's where we said he's from. Okay.
So why does everything have to point towards Ephraim? Like a lot of the story has.
The other stories were also in Har Ephraim. That's what they're. Ephraim is central. This is the center of the Chalot. You have the north things, and you have here Yuda. Yuda is the cutoff. It's not all the way to Eilat. It's like Beersheba, like maybe a little further down. Shiloh right now is where the Mishkan is. 400 years. Okay? Which is going to end in the verse Shema. Yeah, it's going to end soon, but it's been there for 400 years.
Do we know exactly when it ended?
Eli.
We don't.
Oh, when Eli was?
No, when? the
It
end
was
of
Nichrav.
Shiloh.
It was Nichrav when they took the Aaron to the war.
And that was
That was the end of Shiloh.
It says that.
Yes, it says here that after that the Aaron goes to all sorts of other places.
Yes, I know.
So then that's end of Shiloh.
that's
And it
the-
says that it's Nichrav in that paragraph. So, yeah. That's the end of Shiloh, yeah. Okay. So what's Har Ephraim? Okay, Levi haya v'haya gar be'eretz Ephraim. Okay, first of all, there were the Kehat, by the way, in the very Yomim, it says Kehat had places in Har Ephraim. Kehat meaning the Levi'im from Mishpachat Kehat had cities in Ezor Har Ephraim. So probably he's from, we know we're going to see in the very Yomim that's where he's from. Levi haya v'haya be'eretz Ephraim ve'efshar ki letam ze nismach ma'aseh. Okay, we already said that. Ephrati, okay, now because it says in the pasuk, Mina Ramatayim Tzofim Mihar Ephraim, and then at the end of the pasuk, Ben Suf Ephrati. Okay, so who's this Ephrati? So either that he is living in the area of that shevet, right? He's living around shevet Ephraim, Shugar Be'eretz Ephraim Kmo Ephrati. Or he's somehow connected, and now, not in this case. Another reason you could be Ephrati is if you're connected to Beit Lechem Ephrat, which is right next to, which is why we have Ephrat here. But also the Midrash also says that it's also the people who were important, like the Atzilim, the Mechubadim, were Ephratim. So then. And also it could be, and Radak goes on, that it could be that Ephrati is connected to Tzuf, who is his ancestor, and that's not really connected to Elkanah himself. Okay. And I brought the Divrei Yamim just so we see a little bit more how he's directly descendant of Kehat. Bnei Kehat Aminadav and Korach and Asir. He's actually from Korach. Because it says in the Psukim, Bnei Korach lo metu. He's actually a descendant of Korach. Not only is he a descendant of Korach, but then later, if you look at the second half of what I brought in Divrei Yamim, Heyman, who's mentioned in Tehillim, Heyman HaMeshorer ben Yoel ben Shmuel, okay, ben Elkanah ben Yerucham ben Eliel ben Tuch ben Tzuf. Okay, so that not only is Shmuel connected all the way back to Korach, it totally could be. And actually, supposedly, Korach saw in Nevuah. Yeah, he thought he was supposed to be a leader, Korach, but which is actually coming up in a couple of weeks. Right. Shlach is this week, next week. He thought that he was supposed to be a leader because he saw in Nevuah that there would be a leader from him, but it's really Shmuel. He didn't realize it wasn't going to be him. But so not only him, but also Heyman, who is this Levi, who is a Mishorer, who is very important as well in David's time. Okay.
Where does Yoel come from? This is not
the name.
Right. No, this
it's not the Navi Yoel. This is not the Navi Yoel. No, he's in the time of Yeshayahu. Yeah. Okay. Velo shtei nashim, שם אחד חנה ושם השני פנינה. והיא לפנינה ילדים ולחנה אין ילדים. Okay, so we're setting up a story. By the way, Shmuel is one of the most detailed storybooks, like meaning in Tanakh. Like it has a lot of character analysis and character understanding.
And you also know that from day before he's born to
Right, nachon. You know a lot about them, right? Mamash kacha. So we're again in a personal family story. Again, we had some personal family stories that went to something very bad, but now we're going to have a personal family story, although it's a very difficult situation. Very difficult situation. The first one is the first wife, Hannah. And there's the second wife, Pnina. Pnina has children, Chana doesn't have children. Midrash is that Chana said to Elkanah, she saw that they didn't have children, and then she says to him, take another wife. And then he has, you haven't heard of that one? Yeah.
Never heard this story before.
Never heard that.
Yeah. No. If you want to find the midrash for you, but so that in the midrash she tells him take Pnina, and then Pnina becomes actually has children, and Chana and the way the pasuk is framed, meaning that Chana is first, and then Pnina, but then Pnina has Yeladim, but Chana doesn't, also hints at, even though he took a second wife and has children through Pnina, Chana still doesn't have children. Okay? Ve'ala ha'ish hahu mi'iro miyamim yamima להשתחוות ולזבוח להשם צבקות בשילה ושם שני בני אלי חופני ופנחס כהנים להשם. Okay, so first of all we have this ish who is ole miyamim yamima every year after year. Yamim can also be year, not just days, and he goes every year to Shiloh. In all of Shoftim, there wasn't one person who went to Shiloh. So like we have first tikkun, there's somebody who's going to Shiloh every year on Aliyah L'Regel, mitzvah min Torah. Like that's the first amazing thing.
Times a year or once a year?
Chazal say he went to Moadim, like when you're supposed to go. Shavuot, Pesach, and Sukkot. Yeah. And here Rashi says Lashon Hovehu. Now again, Chazal picking up on this. Lashon Hovehu haya ole mizman moed lemoed l'shilo, from every moed to moed, like every chag to chag. And so now, then he brings the midrash, which I actually brought the midrash because it's more detailed in the midrash than Rashi brings. I'm going to skip to the second part of the midrash. I'll talk about the first part afterwards. Elkanah v'ishto banav ve'achyotav ve'kol krovav haya ma'aleh imo l'regel. He would bring his whole family when he came. Ubayim velanim berechova shel ir. Ve'ayta medina margeshet. Everybody noticed that he would go up. Now, if nobody else is going up, and you have a whole chavura of anashim who are going up, you're going to notice. Like there's like somebody coming. Vayusholin oto lehechan tilchu. Where are you going to? V'omrim leveit Hashem shebeshilo, shemisham tetzeh Torah u'mitzvot. Okay, so what a kiddush Hashem, right? He is there, not only doing the mitzvah, but they're going in a big chavura. They're noticeable, and they're saying, in order to go to Beit Hashem to do Torah mitzvot, v'atem lama lo tovo imanu v'nelech yachad. Kiruv, first case of kiruv, like come with us up to Beit Hashem.
I always thought of that as a pipe maker.
Okay, Pied Piper also could be. Miyad enehem mishagrot dmaot, omrim lahem, nilech imachem. And they're crying. And they're saying, oh, we'll go with you. Omrim lahem, hen ad l'shana ba'ah, chamisha batim l'shana acheret asara batim. And there would be more people every year. Okay? And then you have a bigger crowd, and then you're attracting more attention, and then it's more people coming.
I also remember reading a midrash in Tanakh that was saying that you agreed to go to the Aliyah L'Regel. This wasn't the same way that was
To go to Pesel Micha.
But and they said that it didn't have directions, so you'd have to knock on the door and say, start with just a direction.
Oh, wow.
And then ask you, where are you going? And then you would describe your word. Right.
So now the other thing is, the other trick he does, עד שהיו כולם עולים, ובדרך שהיה עולה שנה זו, לא היה עולה שנה אחרת. Every year he'd go a different way, so that more different people from different areas will all start coming, okay? עד שהיו, what one person can make a difference, right? That's what the Midrash is saying. אמר לו הקדוש ברוך הוא, אלקנה, אתה הכרעת את ישראל לקו זכות וחנכתם במצוות, וזכו רבים על ידך, אני אוציא בן ממך שיכריע את ישראל לקו זכות, ויחנך אותם במצוות. And literally, Shmuel is going to be the one who's going to go city to city and bring Torah and Mishpat to everybody. Okay, העלמת שבשכר אלקנה שמואל. Okay, so that's this focus and this long introduction to Elkanah is because he also has a lot of zchuyot that because of that Shmuel comes to Am Yisrael. Yeah. 9 is a mistake, by the way. That should be out already. I didn't take it out. I sometimes copy the format, and then some of the old sources don't look at 9. Now, what's interesting in the pasuk, V'sham shnei bnei Eli chofni and Pinchas. It seems like, what's this doing here? Like, why do we need to know about chofni and Pinchas? So now, we're going to learn more about this in the next prakim, but this whole story of Elkanah, Hannah, and then Shmuel is a contrast to what's happening with Eli, okay, and his children, and what is happening in Shiloh. Okay, so this is just a hint at it, which we're not going to get to it today. But don't forget, like, there's this planted seed. There's the 2 sons at the time, Chofni and Pinchas, of Eli, and they're the Kohanim. Okay. ויהי היום, ויזבח אלקנה, ונתן לפנינה אשתו, ולכל בניה ובנותיה מנות. Okay? ויהי היום, they come on the day that they come, meaning it's Moed, and they've come to Shiloh, and I forgot to say one thing about the previous pasuk. It says Lishtachavot v'lizboach. So here in the Yalkut Shimoni that we just read, it's really I thought was very very important to notice.
This is also the first time since we've been learning Shoftim that we've heard about calling them also.
Nachon. We haven't heard anything about Shiloh. Right, so here the Lishtachavot v'lizboach, if you look back in 8 at the beginning, the lines I skipped, Rav Abba bar Yosef b'shem Rav Yitzchak hatfila gdola min hakorbanot. Dichtiv lishtachavot v'achar kach lizboach. Okay, so we learn from here, tefillah is more important than the actual korban, because it says there first we're going to bow down, which is a symbol of tefillah, and then lizboach. Okay, ורבנן אמרי תפילה שקולה כנגד כל הגמות כדכתיב לשחוות ולזבוח. Okay, which is very important in a time when we don't have korbanot anymore. the tefillah, but here is a time when there is korbanot, shtachovot kodem and lizboach. Okay, so Elkanah comes lizboach, and then they're sitting. He gives Pnina and all her children food, right? He gives them their manot. ולחנה ייתן מנה 1 אפיים, כי את חנה אהב, והשם סגר רחמה. Okay, so now he gives Chana. This is a question. What does it mean, mana 1 apayim? What do you think it means? Okay, could be she got a double portion, but that's one interpretation. Could be she gave a better mana, like it's like a more quality mana, some special food. But the Radak actually brings from his father a very interesting understanding, because apayim usually means anger, right? Okay, so the Radak says apayim kas, klomar bekas היה נותן לה מנה אחת לבד, לפי שהשם יתברך סגר את רחמה ולא יהיה לבנים שייתן לה מנות כמו לבני פנינה, היה לו כעס ועצב בזה. So it's a very different interpretation than normally you would have understood.
That he has anger?
No. That he gives the mana with anger because he's so upset about the fact that she doesn't have children.
Angry towards her, angry towards Hashem.
He gives it angrily. He gives it upset, but it's a very different understanding. But I thought it was there is a deep understanding in it that it's really hard for him too. Like that's the only one I would take from it. I think it's a little bit harsh on. I mean, if you can imagine, then what's Chana's situation? Pnina is getting all the manot. She sees all the children. Plus, her husband also has his upsetness. It doesn't.
Has two ways of doing it. At the beginning,
He gives
her a special portion so that she shouldn't be angry.
Right. Nachod. He gives both. He gives both sides. Yeah, but I think what it does reflect is the complexity of the situation. Meaning, on the one hand, I'm sure Elkanah feels bad right? I'm sure it's hard for him because he loves Hannah and he wants children from her. On the other hand, there's some, like if you year after year after year that this is happening, it's difficult. It's like everybody's upset. She's upset. She's constantly, and we're going to see, is going to be in a mara, like she's like Naomi, almost like she has this. We're going to say the word mara is going to be used with her. Like she's in a difficult situation, and so I think Radak's father is just hinting at that, like. It can't be easy for Elkanah to every year see her in the situation and every year. And so he also has this like upsetness that he gives when he gives her the food. Okay?
But I also think it's interesting that right before that, he was talking about when they came there, they bowed down, and that showed like tefillah. I think the whole inyan that we heard from
Is tefillah.
is the koach of tefillah.
But I think we're learning also the koach of. It's also the koach of tefillah, but also what situation is the tefillah? Like it's also presenting you with a certain situation that Hannah's in that brings her to this tefillah. Okay,
Right.
like it's like.
But I feel like maybe this is Elkanah's way of showing tefillah, like meaning.
Aha! Oh, I'm so upset. I'm going to give it with a little bit of anger.
Like this is his
Right,
action.
it's his, yeah. Nachon. But I think it's so human though. Like it's so
Yeah.
like in a very difficult situation that there's nothing you can.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any control over it. Hashem sagar rachma. There's even tarvut Hashem here. Like it's like it's not. There's nothing you do.
There's also something else here. I think Elkanah is now in he's lost his faith that she can have children. In other words,
He has yush.
he has that's the word used. He has the use at this point, which is probably the reason why Hannah has to now do, her
Desperate. She's so desperate.
Her yozma. It's like, we've done all the fertility treatments and everything, and he says, that's it, I've had it, and he said, it's not good for you anymore.
Right,
So
nachon.
he said,
Mea
let's just
achuz.
forget about it.
Yeah, we're gonna hear.
Sit down and eat, and everything I can
Go
give
on.
you.
Accept the situation already.
I am accepting the situation. I want to give you something. I can only give you food. What
Right,
else can I
nachon,
give you?
nachon,
And then
nachon.
she says, you're giving up? Then it's all up to me now.
Ah, yafeh.
It's
Yeah.
like when Rachel says to Yaakov, give me children or I'm going to, and he says, "Where am I gonna
Tachat
get children
Elokim
from?"
anochi.
And that's the whole idea. And
Mamash.
once he said that to her, Rachel said, okay, if you can't do it, then I have to take
Right, nachon,
responsibility
nachon.
now. Up until now,
Yeah, there's actually a midrash that makes it a bit more complex than that. But no, but it's actually really cool. But it's actually I think that's actually a really good point. That there's something very parallel to the imahot in her story.
Yeah.
Sarah, and that now, and I don't remember where I read this, but like, she has a harder situation than all the imahot. Sarah, she has a tzara, but she's her shivcha. Okay, Hagar is her shivcha. So it's a little bit of different situation than here, an equal wife who has all these children. Okay.
The only difference is with Sarah, with all them also is here with all of them, see that there's tefillah. Sarah you never see because it's almost like.
Oh, she didn't daven, but she gave up.
Yeah.
Well, she was also 90.
No, but you know, like, the early
80,
ones, you don't
80,
see
yeah.
anything that shows that she
Right.
davened or anything.
Nachon,
like that.
nachon. The second, let's say
Because
Rivka.
she did.
Right.
Well, we know that
Okay.
she probably
Well,
did,
that's
but
all
we
we
don't
right, right.
mention it.
But
We don't
Rivka, we actually see that she davens and Yitzchak davens. The difference in the situation is they both don't have children. Like they both are together in this. Okay, and with Rachel and Leah, now it's true Yaakov also has, but again, Rachel has a shivcha and she gives her shivcha in the end. Like there is she has a little bit even more difficult situation than the imahot. And we're going to see there's an added element here. So it's not only do you have another wife and she has children and you don't have children, but pasuk vav v'ka'asta tzarata gam ka'as ba'avur har'ima ki sagar Hashem ba'ad rachma. Now this pasuk with twice ka'as is why Chazal say Pnina would do things on purpose to like upset her, okay? Now the question is, and that's in the Midrashim, like did she do it?
Well, the Midrash says she did it so that she should die.
Exactly. So that's ba'avur harima.
I don't like that Midrash.
Okay. So anyway, the ba'avur harima could go either way. Okay. So why is Pnina rubbing it in? Okay. Could be she's just a really nasty lady. Okay. And what does the Midrash say? She says, did you fix your kid's stuff for school today?
Yeah,
Did you buy him his sweater? Did you, meaning she's like every day, I'll have you already picked out the next season's outfits? Like, meaning she's constantly driving it in how she's, okay?
But
Now,
you have to realize something. It's very obvious that Elkanah loves Hannah. That must be very hard
for Pnina, that's why they're called
They have 10
sarot.
children, but
That's why
she
they're
doesn't
called
have-
sarot,
No,
meaning
she
that
doesn't have
the tzara, a second wife is called a tzara, but literally because she's a tzara, they're tzara to each other. They're assumed to be against each other. In fact, they can't even testify against each other. Like they can't serve as a witness to testify to, let's say, the husband dying or something like that. Like they can't. Yeah, indeed they can't. Ba'avur harima could be literally just to upset her. Like she just wants to rub it in. But Chazal say ba'avur harima, and here there's a midrash in 13 that Satan ve'pnina l'shem shamayim nitkavnu. That they did this. They did these things on purpose. We're not going to go into the Satan right now. But pnina tichtiv v'kastak tzarta gam kas ba'avur harima darsha Rav Acha bar Yaakov b'fanpunya. One second. Where is it? Maybe I didn't bring the whole thing. Yeah, it's in 13. Darsha Rav Acha bar b'fanpunya ata Satan nashkea lekaraya. Well, that's a funny thing at the end. But here, I see that Steinsaltz filled it in. Pnina upset Chana in order to motivate her to pray. Okay, she like rubs it in order that she'll daven harder for a child, and then she'll be zochet to a child. Okay, and it's actually, and then Rav Acha teaches that the Satan kissed Rav Levi's feet when he heard this drasha. Because like he was dan l'kav zchut for the Satan, but anyway, that's a different matter. Okay, so the question is, but whatever the situation is, even if Pnina was doing it l'shem shamayim, Chana is experiencing this as extreme pain on all sides. It doesn't have any support from this second wife. She doesn't have even her husband. Her husband, who seemed okay, is he really on her side or not? Let's read a few more psukim. Okay. וכן יעשה שנה בשנה מדי עלותה בבית השם, כן תכיסנה ותבכה ולא תאכל. And this thing repeated itself every year. You know, they would go year after year. They would go up to Beit Hashem. She would upset her, and she would cry, and she wouldn't eat. Because, like, who can eat when this is the situation?
What happened when they were in Beit Hashem? What happened when they were home?
Right, but maybe then she had different ohel. Maybe it wasn't quite as in her face. Maybe, but I think you do have closer quarters when you're away from home.
Maybe the hint is that here's the place to daven.
Here's a place she can do something about it.
Yeah.
But that it did happen year after year, and so this year somehow she got to a breaking point. Okay.
No, we can understand that. If he's given up, then
Right. So now we're going to see. Maybe the next pasuk will teach us. Yeah. V'yomer la'al kana isha. Okay. So Kana, her husband, says to her, Chana, lama tivki v'lama lo tochli v'lama yera levavech. Halo anochi tov lach mi'asara banim. Okay, so here, like, I was listening to Shir of Rav Moshe Lichtenstein, and he was like, he's mixing up two things. There's the relationship of a husband and a wife, and there's a relationship of children. You can't mix up those two things and think that one can replace the other. There's things that you want here, and there's things you want there. And he doesn't have just, now again, it could be like Becky's saying, he's given up. He said, okay, look, this is the reality. Hashem didn't bless us. let's just enjoy being together. Like, I'm a good husband. I'll take care of you. All those sons that would help you build your sukkah and do everything you need to do, I'll do it for you instead. Like,
We see that. We see after certain IVF treatments, the husband says, listen, I can't
He
do
gives
this
up quicker.
anymore. That's it. You know, we have each other. We love each other. You know, whatever. And that's
right,
what
nachon.
and then it's a question of whether wife is going to accept that. And here, Hannah said,
It breaks her. It breaks her. Something about
that.
that breaks her here. And here I did bring the Malbim.
That's not a midrash, that's just me.
Yeah. And here the Malbim in 15, he
But you know, but he's not sympathetic to say, you know, Hatolami Esther Banim, when that's what she has, you know, that.
right,
you know.
I'm right.
Why do you have to mention the 10 she has, you know?
Right, nachon. And it's true that it's also a very imbalanced situation that he has children and she doesn't. So therefore, it's not even the husband and wife who've been doing IVF treatments for 20 years. It's a husband who managed to have other children and a wife who's left who doesn't have children. And he's saying, okay, but we love each other. Okay, so just the Malbim here, וראה ממנה 3 דברים שבכתה, למה תבכי ולא תאכל, למה לא תאכלי, וגם כעס לזה אמר, ולמה ירא לבבך. Like, I guess that's really a difficulty in Elkanah's part, is like, even what we do have, we can't enjoy because you're in such a state. אמר לי, הלא סיבת הרם הזה הוא צד התוחלת הממושכה שעל ידי שתקווי לבנים ולא באה תקוותך לכן תזכרי בצערך. You're going to just wallow in your pain of constantly yearning for sons that you won't have, which means basically he's כי גם הוא כבר נואש הזה. That's what the mom says. But and אנוכי טוב לך מעשר בנים כי אישה אינה מצווה, and you don't even have a mitzvah. כי אישה אינה מצווה על פריה ורבייה, והיא בעת חוטרה לידה ומרה לקבורה. And you're just going to go down to your grave bitter. Okay, so he's not really so supportive. Okay. ותקם חנה אחרי אוכלה בשילה. Now again, it says here אחרי אוכלה, but we said that she didn't eat. It's just after they had eaten. Like, it's just talking about what action they'd been at. ואחרי שתו, and here the Midrash says that he drank, but she didn't drink. But it's mentioned because of what's going to be. ואלי הכהן יושב על הכיסא על מזוזת היכל השם. Okay, so again, we have here the contrast. This is Hannah's situation. And then she's coming to meet the situation where Eli is sitting on the chair next to the mezuzah v'echal Hashem. Now, only the Kohen Gadol is allowed to sit in the Hechal. Okay? So the fact that Eli is sitting is that's why Chazal say he was made Kohen Gadol. He was made a shofet now also. And he's sitting al mezuzot Hechal Hashem was also where they had the judging. Okay. So he's sitting there, and she's coming in from the situation of Elkanah is giving up, and she needs to, and she's in terrible internal pain. Okay, she's in maybe breaking point, and maybe in the next pasuk we see that. Vahi marat nefesh, vatitpalel el Hashem vebacho tivkeh. Okay, and she is bitter, and she's davening to Hashem. And she's crying. Okay? So now this Marat Nefesh again reminds us of Naomi's Marat Nefesh. Elamara. Right. Okay, so now the Malbim says she has 4 circumstances that brings her to get to this place where this tefillah is actually going to be accepted. Number 1, if we're looking at 17. Aleph. שהיא עצמה הייתה מרת נפש, והשם שומע תפילת נשברי לב. Okay, so the מרת נפש reflects that she is, that Hashem listens to the people who are shvorei lev. Okay, that's 1. 2, ותתפלל אל Hashem. Okay, because it says in the pasuk ותתפלל אל al Hashem, which, by the way, there's an interesting midrash on that. שהתפללה בכוונה שלמה על השם לבדו. She was focused completely on Hashem. When you are in terrible pain, you tend to be much more focused. Like you're mechuvan for your pain, and when you're davening, you're very straight. It's going straight. Al Hashem, Chazal say, is that she complained to Hashem. Like it was Al Hashem. Like instead of El Hashem, it was Al Hashem, that she was davening about what Hashem was doing. 3, Bachot tivke v'sharei dim'a lo ninalu le'olam. That's the third thing that brings about this tefillah to be successful in the end. And the fourth thing is v'tidor neder. Okay, so that's v'tidor neder shekibla al atzma neder shezeh mo'il be'et sarah. Like that, we believe that when you are in a very difficult situation, to make a neder is an acceptable thing. Like Yaakov makes a neder when he's running away from Esav. From Esav. When he's running away from Lavan, but he's going towards Esav, and he's going to have to confront Esav. So he makes a neder. So that's the fourth aspect that will bring about that this tefillah will actually work. Okay, so the next pasuk. Vatidor neder, vatomar. Hashem tzvakot. Imra'o tir'eh be'oni amatecha, וזכרתני ולא תשכח את אמתך, ונתת לאמתך זרע אנשים, ונתתיו להשם כל ימי חייו, ומורא לא יעלה על ראשו. Okay, so this pasuk is like, there's a lot to say about it. First of all, there's one word here that happens a few times. Like what word here is a few times? Amatecha. Meaning she's saying, I've been your Amma. And Chazal here say, like, I've lit candles, I've kept nida, I've, what's the third mitzvah? Hafashat chala. I've been your Amma. I've been serving you and doing your mitzvot. Okay? That's number one. Number two, Hashem tzvakot. Nobody in Tanakh called Hashem tzvakot until here. Okay? And here, in Rashi, quoting a midrash, למה נתייחד שם זה כאן? אמרה לפניו ריבונו של עולם, שני צבאות בראת בעולמך. Okay, so why does she use the word tzvakot? Tzvakot meaning armies or hosts, whatever it means. She said there's two kinds of hosts in your world, Elyonim and Tachtonim. So what are the Elyonim? They're the Malachim. Okay, there's Malachim. Lo parim, lo ravim, v'lo metim. They don't have children, but they also don't die. They live there forever, the Malachim. Hatachtonim, parim, varim, v'metim. People on earth, they have children and they die. If I'm from those that are from the earth, then let me have children and die, okay? But if I'm from the Elyonim, then don't kill me. Meaning, like, you decide, what am I? How can you bring me into this world and you're not allowing me to do the most basic thing, and that's to have children, okay? So that's her first argument. That's her first reason to bring that thing, according to Chazal. And the second one, and here again is also, I think, a really beautiful thing, and she's like, Hashem, you created this whole tzvakot. You created this whole world. You can't give me one son? Like, out of everybody, you can't just give me one child? Like, again, very brilliant arguments, but recognizing, but they're arguments that in the pain, she's recognizing who Hashem is, okay? So, first of all, ra'otireh, see my pain, right? That's what she's asking for. Number one, see my pain. Two, remember my zchuyot, okay? And three, please give me zera anashim. Zera anashim means not only a child.
I want a male child.
A male child, but I want an ish, like anashim. But she's doing something here that is a little bit crazy, okay? And then I will give him to Hashem all his life. What does she want? What does Pnina keep bothering her about? She keeps, well, why aren't you taking care of your kids? Have you prepared this? Have you prepared that? By saying that she's going to give this child to Hashem, she's giving up on that dream.
She's not.
She doesn't know that. I'm saying, but what she at this point is doing, when she's saying, I'm going to give this child to Hashem, she's saying, just give me a child, but for you. I'll even do it for you. She's giving up on that dream of living with her son and raising him and allowing him to be in her house and be that support. She's giving that up and she's giving it to Hashem.
Because one of the things that's very important to a woman
is to just have a child. But I think that what she's doing here, she's making a neder. Okay, this is serious stuff. It's not just like stam. What she's doing here, though, is saying, I want a child for you. I don't just want it for me. Please give it to me so that it can be for some, and it can be an ish. It can be somebody who can bring good, somebody who will save the world. And this is what allows her to have a child. It's pretty crazy. Like ultimately, again, in the end, according to the Psukim, she has even more children after Shmuel. But she doesn't know that. What she just wants is that one, just let me have somebody in this world to continue and to bring good into the world.
I thought that was what gave her the strength to have a child, was the surrendering
of even having it.
Of having it.
Yeah. That is, but it's not Muvan Me'elav. Like,
right.
I think, but it's basically, Rabbi Moshe Chassid was like, it's a little bit like the Akedah. It's not the Akedah. But in the Akedah, Hashem is telling Abraham, he told him, you're going to have children and you're going to build a nation that's going to be for me. Mm-hmm. And he's telling him to kill him. And he's telling him, your dream to the Takenet HaOlam, it's going to end here. Mm-hmm. Abraham doesn't know, like we know, that he's not going to have to kill him in the end. But at that point, just like here, Chana, at this point, it's like saying, the dream that you have, I'm maybe going to give you a child, but that I'm going to have to give him to Hashem, and he's not going to really be with me.
We don't see that with Rachel. When we make the comparison, Rachel wants to do that. Like, she wants that experience of the
having a
kids in the
child.
house and it's not
She wants a child. It's not exactly the same.
No, not the same.
It's not the same. Okay. All right. So, okay. Oh, here Radak actually has an interesting point. He's like, how could this neder even be true? Like, because he's not even alive, the son. Right. And again, she ends it with Moralo Yalel Rosho. He's going to be a Nazir, she says. Okay? And he's like, how can she make a neder about a child who's not even in existence? And so how come he had to keep the neder? And why? And Amru halacha he benazir ve'im tomar ki el kana sat neder gam ken achrei ze lo ra'inu. Like he's like, but nobody talks about it. But anyway, but another interesting comparison is to Manoach and his wife and Shimshon. Yeah. Okay, because basically Shmuel and Shimshon are going to be similar, but it just this is a whole shir in of itself comparing the two, but it's not the same. Because
she is not supposed to, because she doesn't have to stop drinking wine and whatever else. Because
right.
Say, you have to be the Niziran
right.
He's born.
So
here we don't see that.
Exactly, no. So it's not just that. It's also Manoch's wife is given a tzivui and she does it.
Right.
It's not her initiative. Chana on her own is volunteering this. She wants this. She's volunteering Shmuel also. Like it's not just her. It's also the creative. But Shimshon, you see, didn't end up so well. Meaning, like he's sort of good for some of parts of it, but in some ways he's not. But with Shmuel, he takes on this vision of his mother, and he does manage to continue, and it does serve well.
I'll tell you the difference is his parents called him Shimshon. They called him the son. Shmuel is called Shema Hashem.
Oh, Shema Hashem. You're fair.
Big difference.
But I think that it also is the contrast between you're being told what to do, and you are initiating. Like that's very different.
She could, by the way, according to the Gemara, she's not even allowed to do that. She
She
can't
can't
make her son be a
I know, that's what the Radak is talking about. That's what Radak was like confused. Apparently, he accepted it also. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Let's see. We'll get through a little bit more. והיה כי הרבתה להתפלל לפני השם, ואלי שומרת פיה.
Oh, you didn't
Okay.
bring that beautiful midrash about the zona?
סוטה.
Sota?
Oh, so there is. I didn't bring
I did not do
it. Okay, I could tell you the midrash about the sota. The sota is that she says, "Imra'o tir'eh be'oni amatecha." So she says, if you see my oni and you'll answer me, fine. If not,
I'll make you.
I'm going to make you do this, and I'm going to pretend that I'm going to litached with somebody so that they'll have to lashkot the mei sota, and then I'll drink the mei sota. And the Chazal say that if you drink it and you haven't done anything wrong, you get pregnant. Like that's the whole concept of al Hashem. Like she says metichad dvarim in the Gemara. It's like a lot of things about how she's really complaining to Hashem, and this is the demanding of, like, out of all the tzvakot, you couldn't choose one son and give it to me. Out of every, like, you gave me my breast so I could, and I can't give milk to anybody. Like, what are you doing, Hashem? Like, there's a little bit of a drisha from Chana. Like, why did you create me this way? If I can't do what I'm supposed to do in this world. Okay. Rashi also doesn't bring the sota. He says, "V'darshu ma shedarshu rabotenu." But yeah, okay. Anyway,
The whole thing of the sota is she can be threatening Hashem, but her husband would have to be in the act.
Right.
he would have to lekanot. No,
You know,
it's not so simple.
And there has to be a hasara, and there has to be, there's a lot involved in the whole idea of the sota.
Yeah.
It's not just that with Sotah, they say that the bracha comes with having a child is because then you know that you need to go for therapy. And
Oh, you actually take care of
you
it.
then wind up having a child.
And that's not the problem here.
No.
Right, but I do think what the point, I think, of that midrash is also
It's
just
a
her
desperation.
her
Her
mesirut
desperation.
nefesh, her willingness to do anything in order to get it, to have a child.
And that would be humiliating.
Yeah, para rosha, yeah, mamash. But she doesn't care. Like, she's just, all she wants is a child. Mamash. והיה כי הרבתה להתפלל לפני השם ואלי שומר את פיה. Okay, so we all daven. We learn how to daven from Chana. Meaning, at this point in time, apparently, according to the Mepharshim, people didn't daven the way we daven. They didn't daven silently. They didn't daven just with moving the lips. They davened out loud. They talked to God. And here, actually, the Malbim, I really like the Malbim brings, what's the difference between talking out loud and talking to yourself? Which, by the way, the Radak brings a little thing here, that there's a midrash that she davened so much she actually shortened Shmuel's life, because she said, meaning when you speak too much you might bring negative. And that ad olam is like a yovel, is 50 years. And that he dies at 52, but that's shortened his life from what? Because the 2 years that he was by her. Yeah, so then it's 50 years from when he became the living. But anyway, so that's just a little bit of a criticism, but I thought it was worth bringing the Malbim about tefillah.
Which is interesting because they don't bring Moshe.
That he davened so much.
No, that he did it tefillah tzara.
Nachon.
And that's what Rashi says.
Right. Okay, והיה מבואר אצלי במקום אחר.
Huh?
also did a tefillah aruka.
Yeah, נכון, and he also didn't get what he wanted. But anyway, שיש בעניין התפילה שתי מדרגות. יש המתפלל על ידי אמצעי, והוא שמבקש שתעשה בקשתו על ידי המלאכים המליצים, מזכירים זכויותיו על ידי הזכויות אשר בהם יצטדק. Okay, so you can daven through, like you're davening to the malachim or the melitzim, and you're not, but just, and he's trying to mention his good things. וכן יבקש העזר והתשועה גם כן על ידי אמצעי. It's like you're not really davening directly to Hashem. ויש המתפלל בלי אמצעי, כמו שאמרו חכמינו ז"ל, אל תהיה צווח, לא למיכאל, לא לגבריאל, אלא מי כהשם אלוקינו, בכל קוראינו אליו. Okay, so, and then there's somebody who's just davening straight to Hashem and is just pouring out his heart to Hashem. א', המתפלל להשם בלי אמצעי, אין צריך להאריך. You don't have to make it very long. כי אחר שאינו מבקש להצטדק על ידי זכויותיו וטענותיו בדרך משפט, רק בצורת חסד וחנינה. If you're just saying to Hashem, Hashem, I'm having a hard time, just please listen. You don't need to like list all your zchuyot why he should answer you. Okay? If you're talking through an emtsai and you're in a court case, then you need to start explaining why you should be listened to. That's the first thing. I'm going to skip the parentheses till.
Well, we're not saying that she's doing that.
Right. They're trying to point out what's the difference between her tefillah. That's what they're trying to understand. לא כן השואל על ידי מליצים מספרים זכויותיו שבהם יברר, כי ראוי שתעשה בקשתו על פי דין, צריך לסדר טענותיו ולברר זכויותיו. Maybe it's a little like giving a paper through your attorney to the judge. Like you're like have to give your arguments properly. וכמו שהוא במלכותה דערה, like right in this world. Okay. וב', so I'm skipping to the ב', המתפלל על השם לבדו, אין לו להשמיע קולו בתפילתו, כי כל יצר מחשבות לב הוא מבין. If you're talking directly to Hashem, you don't have to talk out loud, because Hashem knows exactly what your heart is saying. So you just have to somehow be mechaven to Hashem, but from a very internal place. והמשמיע קולו בתפילתו, הרי זה מקטנן אמונה. What, you think that Hashem will only hear you if you say something out loud? לא כן השואל על ידי אמצעים יכול להשמיע קולו. He can, right? So he can say it out loud. וכן להתפלל, אוקיי. וכאשר ראה את חנה שהרבתה להתפלל, חשב שהיא גם כן מתפללת על דרך זה, שאם לא כן, לא היה לה להרבות. So Eli's confused. Are you davening from your heart? And then why are you being so long? Like what he wasn't sure what exactly is she doing.
I thought that when it says it's supposed to down there and you that you talk, that's just only that you can hear.
Right, נכון. You have to like whisper it to yourself, sort of. Yeah, נכון.
But you're saying then they didn't daven like that.
No, that they daven mamash out loud. People would come to the echal and ask for things, okay? ולכן היה שומר את פיה. רצה לומר, היה רוצה לשמוע תפילתה. But he wanted to hear, what are you asking for? כי חשב שבהכרח תתפלל בקול רם, because she's taking so long, like she's clearly having arguments. Like, why is she taking so long? אחר שמתפללת על ידי אמצעים, אבל לא כן היה רק. Okay, so she wasn't, so he sees her davening this, okay, now the next pasuk is going to describe how she's davening.
He wasn't busy being a kohen, doing korbanot, doing something. That's what he had to do with his life, is to sit and watch a woman.
It's actually interesting. It said, there was actually a midrash when it says that Elkanah went by himself, is that people stopped coming because of his sons. That people weren't coming to the Shiloh. I mean, here they're giving criticism because they were so mushchat that nobody wanted to come anymore. So maybe she's one of the only people there. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, although we said he is mekarev and he is bringing other people, so, but...
Elkanah is a lady, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There was no masrot there, like...
Oh, meaning that they should, the Levi doesn't, I don't think he gets it in Mikdash.
He gets from people.
Yeah.
He gets from us,
Yeah.
and then he gives to
Yeah.
the line.
Yeah.
The question is, where is his manot coming from? His manot is
Oh,
something he brought with him?
If it's a regal, he's bringing
He's
her
bringing
manot.
it.
Yeah, right. And then he probably it's probably his part in the korbanot. You have shlamim. You have shlamim also, yeah. Okay, I think we're going to stop here. I'll just one more pasuk. Why is he watching her? וחנה היא מדברת אל ליבה, רק שפתיה נאות, וקולה לא ישמע, ויחשבה אלי לשיכורה. Okay, so all he hears is, now again I'm looking here in 22, it's like here's some halachot we get from חנה מדברת על ליבה, מכאן למתפלל שצריך לכוון בליבו. רק שפתיה נאות, מכאן למתפלל שיחתוך בשפתיו. Okay, so number one, she's talking to her heart, that a person has to be מכוון. Two, her lips are moving, we're supposed to have our lips moving. קולה לא ישמע, but מכאן אסור להגביה קולו, but you can't make your voice louder. ויחשבה עלי לשיכורה, מכאן ששיכורה אסור להתפלל. Like if Eli thought she was shikora and he was upset with her, it means that if you're drunk you shouldn't be davening. Okay, so we actually learned a ton of halachot here of tefillah, but here we're going to see, I mean, everybody actually knows, but we're going to continue next week with her getting what she wanted.
I'm watching that story bombers and my son comes out on Friday.
Oh, what do people do? And they're, oh, that's why my husband does his Suda in the morning. He's a gushnik. They very much, yeah. You're supposed to do it in the morning. There is a whole inyan that Hasidim do that they go into Shabbat with the Suda. Like some people do that. But yeah. The two.
Some people, we had this was it last year. There's a whole machlok. We didn't know if you continue the meal into Shabbat.
Oh, into Shabbat.
There's machlok on whether you are or not. Because you have to remember, there's different ways of doing benching, and it's not the same
Right. There's
thing.
a problem benching
Yeah.
if you're drunk. Right.
The paper next week we're going to need the same.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Ah.
We have to be more optimistic.